If you're looking to improve your C6 Corvette sound and don't want to compromise on quality or performance, then the Corsa Sport Axleback is a great choice for your build. Designed to fit all 6-liter powered, so non-Z06, 2005, 2006, and 2007 C6s, the Corsa Sport is a fan favorite for good reason. The sound here is a great balance, and we're going to give it a 3 out of 5 on our loudness meter. This is quite a bit louder than stock, but not so much that you can't take your car on a long trip or even daily drive it. It just works to enhance the driving experience of your C6, and it won't get your neighbors all fired up on cold mornings either. What we have here is an Axleback, so this is going to replace your factory mufflers and tips, and this one in particular is Corsa's Sport level, so unlike some other exhausts on the market for the C6, it really isn't too loud. As you heard from the clips at the beginning of the video, the tone here is nice and deep. It accentuates the lumpy idle of the LS2, and it lets it really sing when the revs start to climb. It's a nice improvement over the factory setup, which is just too quiet for most people's taste. And really, the engine is the heart of the Corvette, as it has always been, so letting it flow more freely is never a bad thing. Now, Corsa claims that their Axleback here provides a 35% increase in exhaust gas flow as well, so you may end up with some more power and torque, as well as better response when you put your foot into it. Now, we're not dyno testing this one to verify, and your results may vary, but it will be an improvement in a number of ways. The sound and better flow do come by way of these less restrictive mufflers, of course. Now, these are going to be chambered, suitcase-style mufflers, and thus, they don't really have any baffling in there taking out the sound. Now, that does mean you're going to get a louder experience inside of the cabin as well, so plan on having to speak up or crank up the stereo a bit. But come on, you didn't buy a Corvette because they're quiet. And with this system, you get to enjoy more of that trademark small block Chevy V8 noise without having to worry about being overwhelmed by it. Now, finishing the system off are a set of quad polished 4.5-inch tips. Reminiscent of the iconic quad tip factory setup, these are just a little bit larger and a little more eye-catching. These are, of course, dual wall T304 stainless too, and they've got the Corsa Performance logo laser etched into the edge there. So it provides a nice visual update to the rear fascia of the car, and an enthusiast might spot it, but the real tip-off will be when you fire it up. Construction here is all T304 stainless steel, including those tips we were just discussing, making it the best when it comes to corrosion and rust resistance. And the tubing is, of course, all mandrel bent, meaning you'll get smooth exhaust flow with no odd creases in the middle of the piping. T304 is an excellent material, but you are going to have to pay to play here. Speaking of which, pricing for this system comes in at around $2,500, and that makes it a decidedly premium option within the segment. But again, you're getting really high quality construction, excellent material quality, better performance, and great sound. This is an awesome setup for somebody who spends a lot of time behind the wheel and doesn't want to compromise. Installation gets a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you around 2 hours to complete. Now, like any exhaust, it can be a bit finicky due to the fact that most of us don't have access to a lift, and exhausts on a Corvette in general are a little bit more difficult than some others. But this is a totally bolt-on system. It's going to utilize your factory exhaust hanger locations, and it doesn't require you to make any modifications to your car. Plus, you get all the clamps and hardware you need to get the job done. And we're going to walk you through the entire process step by step right now, and that way you can get it done at home in your driveway or garage. So for that, let's head over to the install bay and we'll show you how it's done.
For this install, you will need various impacts, a ratchet, 13, 15, and 18 millimeter sockets, a hanger removal tool, a 13 millimeter ratcheting wrench, a 15 millimeter wrench, and also not shown here is the jack and jack pins. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing an exhaust on our Corvette, so let's get started. Alright guys, so we've got our car up in the air, and the first thing we need to do is disconnect our sway bar. And we're going to remove the bolt and nut from each side, mounting it to our subframe. So we've got our 18 millimeter socket on our impact. We're going to remove all these, and it's going to fall down, or drop down rather. That's going to give us enough room to get our muffler section out. Do the same thing on this side. Now you may need to grab a 15 mil wrench to the back side of these bottom bolts. Once you have that disconnected, you can pull your sway bar back. It'll drop down out of the way. You don't need to remove these, obviously. Next, we need to remove the hardware for our rear hanger isolator brackets. Now you've got a 13 millimeter bolt holding each bracket on for each muffler. The outer ones you can reach with a ratchet and a socket. The inner ones, you're gonna need a 13 millimeter ratcheting wrench. So we'll start with the outers and then get the inners on both sides. We're actually gonna use our impact for this outer one. Again with our 13 millimeter socket. Remove that bolt. For our inner one, our 13 mil ratchet wrench. And once you have this side out, you can do the same thing for the other side. Now we're going to come back to our clamps at our slip joints on our H-pipe, and we're going to use our 15 millimeter socket to loosen these up. And your muffler should fall down a good bit. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Now we're going to take our muffler assembly and work it out of our slip joint. It's a pretty tight fit in here. So may have to move this around a bit. Once you've got that out, you want to get your muffler above your slip joint. And you want to bring this straight down and out. Now once you've got your first side out, you can repeat the same process for the other side. Alright guys, now that we have our stock mufflers off, we're going to need to grab these stock hangers and isolators because we're going to be reusing them for our new setups. So we've got our hanger removal tool. We're going to pop those off. Get these off of the factory hanger rods. And once you have your first two off, you can do the same thing for your other muffler assembly. So now we're going to install our over axle pipe. We're going to start on our passenger side. We're going to send this over and get it into our slip joint on our H pipe. We'll get this over. It's lined up with our slip joint. Get that fully seated. Then we can do the same thing for our other over axle. Now we'll get our flanges at our H-pipe back into place. Get these lined back up. Our flanges back onto our studs. And we'll reinstall our 15 millimeter nuts. Now we'll tighten these back down evenly with our 15 mil socket on our impact. Now we can begin installing our muffler assembly. So we're going to grab our supplied clamp, get that over our slip joint on our muffler inlet. Now for the passenger side, you want to make sure the bolt for the clamp, or the nut rather, faces away from the middle of your differential. And for the driver's side, you want it to face towards the differential. We're also going to reinstall our factory hanger brackets. Get those on. We're going to get this up in place onto our over axle. Make sure that gets fully seated. We're going to hang our brackets back in their factory locations. And we can reinstall our 13mm hardware. We get our 13mm bolts back in place. And we'll come in and tighten these down. Now because we have more room, we can use a 13mm socket on our ratchet. Now we can tighten down our inlet clamp with our 15mm socket and a long extension. We're going to go through our subframe. Make sure this sits on the end of your slip joint for the best seal. Now we'll tighten down the slip joint clamp for our H-pipe. And once you have this side tight, you can repeat the same process on the other side. And once you have everything else in, we'll reattach our sway bar. We'll swing this back into position. Lined up on our bolts. Get our factory 18mm hardware back in. And we'll come back with our 18mm socket on our impact and a 15mm wrench to tighten this down. And we can do the same thing for the other side. Alrighty folks, that about wraps up our review and install of our Corsa Performance Sport Axleback Exhaust with polished tips for your 05 to 07 6-liter Corvette C6. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Corvette, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.